Oh yeah, welcome back to the 100th episode of the Silver Boys.
100.
I am your host Cam Silver.
I am your co-host Kyle Silver.
And wow, 100.
Yo, 100 episodes, my boy.
Give me some.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. I love it. We gonna keep coming at you. We gonna keep going. Only to the top.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just keep moving.
100 down, 100 more to go. Let's get it.
All right.
What's going on? Talk to me. What's going on this week, brother?
We're coming into that part where now we're 5 games left in the NFL season? And now clinches are starting to happen. So on Black Friday, Chiefs, luckily, clinched against the Raiders.
Luckily.
After Aiden O'Connell fumble. The Bills clinched after their beatdown against San Francisco in the snowstorm.
Yep.
Which was, I just love snow games.
Yeah, it's just awesome. So nice to see.
It's just awesome. I'm just happy to see those back. We got like 3 of them now, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. The Browns played in
Cleveland with Steelers, Bills and Niners, and then there was another one that I'm forgetting. There's another one in there, and I don't know why.
Slipping my mind.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't figure that one out, but
we'll find out.
Overall, there's been a few snow games. It looks good. Loving it. Guys are starting to, clinch. Teams are still looking to clinch. And I'm loving it. But I think the real story here is what happened on Thanksgiving. Matt
Eberflus. Gone.
So, 30 seconds left in the game. Your quarterback gets sacked. You have one timeout that you're sitting on. You're just on the outside of field goal range. I think everybody and their mom knows.
Call the timeout.
Let's just call this timeout.
Get settled.
Let's get settled, everybody. Let's get DJ Moore or Keenan Allen on one of those out routes. Give me a 5 to 10 yard out route. Give him the ball. Think about it. Even if you get tackled in bounds, you've practiced this more than enough, or at least every team should be practicing this more than enough to the point where it's like, okay, you got 10 seconds, you got 15 seconds or whatever, and we need to get the field goal unit out. Everybody rushes off, field goal unit rushes on. By around 5, 4, 3, that's when the kick should be happening. But nope, instead, what does Matt Eberflus do? Caleb gets sacked. Caleb gets up. He's trying to rush everybody over. And what is Matt Eberflus doing? Just sitting there.
Looking exactly like that. Just sitting there. Watching.
Like a deer in the headlights.
I don't get it. I don't get it. To not call the timeout in that instance, 30 seconds left, clock is winding down. We've seen the Chiefs, go pretty much the full length of the field, in the playoffs in probably 15 or less seconds.
Yes.
And for you guys, the Chicago Bears to not call the timeout, not get everybody settled, and to see Caleb Williams, trying to get everybody, you know what I mean? He's rushing. But then I also kind of blame him a little bit too, because I think he should have kind of called the timeout too.
He should have, but I also... it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's still things that he has to learn. And it's probably, not in his say for him to, you know what I mean? Like there's so much, I think for him, around him, there's so much turmoil that it's like, basically, I just have to put my head down and do as I'm told. You know what I mean? So, but I do understand. I do understand.
I just think about it in terms of like clock management.
Right.
But... given, how the Bears season is going, another failure of a season, I would say, pretty much, it's not expecting how, we thought it was going to be coming into the season. Caleb Williams, having a rough rookie season a little bit.
Yeah, he shows a lot of flashes. I think overall, we know he'll be fine. He showed a lot of flashes, but like I said, there's just a lot going on around him.
Going on in the organization.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was time to get Matt Eberflus out of there.
Yeah.
And especially after this, latest... debacle, thank you, that he had. It's just you got to get a fresh new face in there, but you also need a fresh new face that's going to build continuity.
Yes.
And actually build a culture in that Chicago organization.
Correct.
Because you can't have another Matt Eberflus coming in and just not work out. You're wasting time off of Caleb Williams' career. And you're not doing anything with him.
Yeah.
So and they got a good squad, genuinely.
Yeah,
they've come very close to winning a bunch of games as well. Very, very, very close.
Yes.
A lot of their losses have been by 3 points. They just lost by 3 points to the Lions this past week. A lot of their losses have been within 7 points.
Yeah.
So it's just, clock management needs to be worked on. Late game situation definitely needs to be worked on as a whole.
Yes.
Everybody being on the same page.
Yes. On both sides.
You could tell that that's not what's happening under Matt Eberflus. And then he gets up on the press conference. He's like, I like what we did there. I like what we did there.
I remember I tried to show that to my dad during Thanksgiving. My dad was like, I don't want to hear that.
Man, I could not believe it. I genuinely could not believe it.
Like, that got me so heated because it's like, how could you like anything that you've done when literally everybody that was watching TV, that was watching that game, was screaming for a timeout. Even casual people who don't even watch football like that were probably screaming for a timeout.
Of course they were.
Or screaming just to stop the clock, do something.
The common sense would say you get sacked.
You get sacked, you automatically take a timeout. Oh man, we got 30 seconds left. Oh hell yeah, man, we're not doing this. Timeout. Get our guy Santos into field goal range, and that we live and die off of that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I know obviously playing the Lions for extra time is not ideal, but at least you give yourself a chance.
You gave yourself a chance. You only lost by 3 to arguably probably the best team in the NFL right now.
Exactly.
And you were this close. You were this close. One timeout away from at least tying the game and sending it to OT.
Exactly.
And you couldn't do that? That's a problem.
Shame.
That's a problem.
Shame.
That's a problem.
But they I think, what was it? I think Jay Glazer said he reported that after the game, Matt Eberflus was like, hey, we gotta go through things like this. And then I think Jalen Johnson had got up and just stopped them and just started screaming.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And then
he lost the locker room.
Yeah, he lost the locker room at that point.
I think he lost it weeks ago though.
I think he. What's funny? I think, and I think Rick Fine has said it, that Hail Mary was going to be the tipping point against Commanders.
The Commanders.
Yeah, that was going to be the tipping point for them.
Yes.
That was exactly where it was, and I think we all kind of seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you can't lose that way. You got your corner out here just going at the fans and whatnot. Then he ends up tipping the ball, gets hit, then the touchdown. Then after that, you take 2 embarrassing losses back to back.
Yeah.
And then that you just can't get on track after that.
Mm-hmm.
You fire your offensive coordinator. You move up your passing game guy. He obviously implemented something into Caleb Williams that is a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have seen him grow from that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall as a head coach, as a leader of men, you could just tell he was just at that point he was just in over his head.
And that Hail Mary, that being the leader of men, I forgot a homeboy's name that it happened.
I think it was Tyreek Stevenson.
Stevenson, thank you. And in that moment right there,
yeah,
I could tell that he doesn't have control of the locker room because there's no reason why that guy Tyreek Stevenson should have been doing that.
Imagine a Bill Belichick or a Mike Tomlin led team doing that.
Not at all. They wouldn't even think about doing that. You know what
I mean? I understand Steelers got to crash out and George Pickens, but at least George Pickens puts up numbers and helps the team win. He might do some dumb stuff where it's all right, bro, but I wouldn't expect this to happen. That's embarrassing.
And then the OC firing, that was just to cover Matt Eberflus's behind.
Mm-hmm.
That was all that was. Was all that was.
That's no.
They gave him an extra week or two.
Yeah, he was basically saving his job. To save his job.
Exactly.
And when you're trying to save your job, instead of focusing on what needs to be focused on, everything else will start to spiral out of control.
The dominoes start to fall.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which exactly
in a bad way, not for you.
Shaking my head. Let's see, some other crazy things happened. Giants defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence and tight end Theo Johnson out for the season with injuries. Saints tight end and basically utility guy. He does whatever he needs to do. Taysom Hill out for the season with a knee injury. CMC injures his PCL. He's out for the season. Deontay Johnson suspended 1 game by the Ravens after refusing to go in on a play against the Eagles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's big. And
that's
they just traded for him too.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of weird. You know, you go from a franchise that's not that good and the Ravens, and the Panthers. You traded to the Ravens, which is a playoff contender, championship contender, and you just refuse to go in for whatever reason.
For whatever, like why would you not go in?
Yeah, that's a little odd to me.
Why refuse to go in the game?
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Yeah,
I don't. If your number's called, you go in.
You go in. Yeah,
you should be excited to go in. Like
you don't know when you don't know if Lamar's gonna throw you the ball or not.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
so that's more turmoil in Baltimore, most definitely.
Yes. Especially after they just lost to the Eagles. You know what I mean? They kept that game close too for the most part. Azeez Al-Shaair suspended 3 games for that vicious, and I mean vicious, hit against Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence looked like he died on the field.
I think he did almost.
He
basically did. Like he was. I remember they keep showing it. I don't know why they keep showing it, which is like, you know, that's a vicious, and a vicious hit that literally knocked him stiff. You know what I mean? Like he looked like a UFC fighter. He looked like a boxer that just got knocked out. Cold.
Yep, because he did. He did.
You know, yeah. And then Azeez Al-Shaair, it turns into a whole brawl afterwards. Understandably so.
As it should.
Quarterback.
As it should.
D'Amico Ryan had some choice words. Putting some of the blame on Trevor Lawrence, which I understand. Obviously, because it's been a whole debate this week now with quarterbacks towing on the line, kind of abusing the sliding mechanism, the sliding rules. So I understand that. You see Patrick Mahomes do it a good amount of times, but I understand that. But the thing that caught me was him saying that the Jaguars overreacted to basically trying to beat up on Azeez.
No.
Imagine if that happened to C.J. Stroud.
No, you want your guys to go defend your quarterback.
Yes, you want your guys to defend the leader of the team, the captain, the man.
Like he just went down. You got to go in now.
Exactly.
Like you got to go get him.
Like saying that was an overreaction is insane to me.
I mean, he's just saying that obviously because I
understand he wants to protect his guy, but his guy has a history of being wild.
Yes, he does.
This guy has a history.
Yes, he does.
He's been fined multiple times for a lot of things. So, you know what I mean?
It's repeated behavior.
It's repeated behavior. Exactly.
And it's the way he leaned into Trevor Lawrence, arms out. It wasn't a football move.
Right.
Right. And then my thing is like, okay, you see that he's going to slide. Why would you lunge yourself forward?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Even if you did, why are you lunging yourself like this and not, at least trying to, I don't know, it happens all that.
Shoulder first or something?
Shoulder first, you might try to, dive the other way maybe, you know what I mean? You might want to put your hands first instead, either way, it's one of those bang bang things where you have to make a split decision at less than 0.5 of a second. So, but yeah, that was just ugly to see, and it's just ugly that the fact that everyone keeps showing it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I mean, people got to see it now. Yeah, it's a big thing now. It really, really is.
And then on top of that, Trevor Lawrence will obviously be out for the remainder of the season, not only because of a concussion, but he has to get shoulder surgery. So, yeah, that's a double whammy right there.
Double, triple whammy. That's a shame. That's a shame. Yeah. But that's why the Jaguars dudes went after him because you could have ended his life, his career.
Yeah.
You ended his season now. Yeah. To the Jaguars, that's important to them.
Yeah. What I mean? Everybody and their mom knows that they weren't going anywhere, but still at the end of the day,
that's your franchise quarterback.
Exactly. That you just signed an extension to this offseason.
Exactly.
Also.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's man, that was a lot.
It was a tough hit. That was nasty to see. Yeah. I don't want to see it again.
Yeah. I was watching Get Up this morning. I'm like, why? Why do we keep showing this? But moving on to this week 14 now. We got a good one Thursday. Green Bay versus Detroit. Let's look at what else we got. Atlanta going to Minnesota. We got
Browns and
Steelers again. That's going to be a good one. Seattle, Arizona. That NFC West is tight.
Yes.
Tight.
Yes, it is.
Buffalo's going to see the Rams. You got Chicago going to see San Francisco. We'll see how both teams react. We got the Chargers going to Kansas City. Oh, by the way, Chicago's replacing Matt Eberflus with Thomas Brown. He was the one who replaced the offensive coordinator. So now he's officially in the head coaching spot as the interim head coach. Could be vying for a head coaching spot there if he wants it. Maybe other places. Maybe he just wants to go back to being a passing game coordinator or offensive coordinator. So who knows? But yes, they have moved him up. And then, like I said, it's just a lot going on over there. But Sunday night cap will be Chargers versus Kansas City. So that will be a good one.
That's a good one.
Monday night will be Cincinnati and Dallas.
Two franchises that have been on the
decline.
The decline. But, Cowboys winning their last two.
I feel for Joe Burrow.
It's not his fault.
He puts up so many numbers. Obviously, yes, I feel like everyone keeps saying, like guys like Shannon Sharp and some other people, they're like, he turns the ball over at, the times that you don't want him to. But also, when you have a defense that's that bad, every turnover is a turnover when you don't want it to be. You know what I mean? Like every turnover you can't make up for because your defense is gonna give up some type of points, whether that's 3 or 7. And then you know what I mean. And then like the Steelers, Russell Wilson looked like Russell Wilson back when he was going to the Super Bowl.
Yo, Russell Wilson, comeback player of the year, bro. Because what he's doing right now,
the way he was
disgusting.
spinning the ball, man, it was nasty. That was just nasty. And I personally, I just can't blame Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? I just can't do it. You got guys in and out of lineup with T. Higgins and stuff like that. Obviously the only guy that you could really depend on is Joe Burrow.
And Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase, excuse me, not Joe Burrow. Chase Brown is another one, but it's hard for him. And like I said, when you have a defense that allows you little to no room for error. You know what I mean? It sucks. Like imagine
both sides of the ball.
Exactly. Imagine if Joe Burrow was playing with a defense like the Steelers.
Their record would most definitely be reversed. They would be 8-4 at least because a couple of those games they should have pulled out.
Yeah.
But
the
defense,
Ravens game and then other games. Yeah.
Yes, a couple of those games the Bengals should have pulled out, and especially the way Jamar Chase has been bugging.
Yeah, he's been bugging out. Him, the both of them.
Both of them.
You know what I mean? The both of them. They get both. If they had a winning team, they could both make the argument for AP Offensive Player of the Year and for MVP.
Absolutely.
Because they're not. Saquon's more likely going to take Offensive Player of the Year. Josh Allen, after that performance against San Francisco, is probably going to take MVP. So
the fact that Lamar pretty much just played himself out of.
Over these last couple of weeks,
he has not. Though against the Eagles, the way he was just like missing,
he looked
balls,
lost out there.
I've never seen him look that lost before.
He looked
and that
lost
was very concerning.
I haven't seen him look that lost since like his rookie year.
Exactly. After starting off the season type hot.
You had like the perfect passer rating against Denver. You know what I mean? You go into this big time duel with Joe Burrow. Like you look like, you know what I mean? It looked like, okay, like they on to something.
You were a toe away from beating the Chiefs in the first game of the season. And then now this game against the Eagles, which that was a very telling game, and the Eagles did their thing. Saquon did his thing.
Yes.
That defense is that Eagles defense is amazing. That Eagles defense is amazing.
I like that defense a lot. I like that secondary.
Yes.
Secondary.
Yes.
I knew it was gonna be something when Cooper DeJean got there.
Yeah.
I remember watching him at Iowa. I'm like, bro, this dude is tough.
Cooper's nasty.
Tough.
He's nasty. But I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see. Bengals Cowboys though. That's a good game.
That's gonna be a good one. Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Kind of.
For the Bengals, I think.
I had to rethink that.
For the offense. For the Bengals offense.
For the Bengals offense, yeah.
Let's move on. I think you already know. We are basically a couple days away from the official bracket.
Yes, sir.
Being released for the college football playoffs for the first 12-team college football playoffs ever. Okay. So the rankings have come out. And obviously, everyone is talking about the bottom. Everyone's talking about that 11 through 14 from Bama, Miami, Ole Miss to South Carolina. So you got. So obviously, Bama gets in as of right now from the looks of the bracket. Miami, Ole Miss, first two out. Another big one that I don't think a lot of people are really talking about is the fact that Ohio State, obviously, we know, moves from 5 to 8 in the seeding.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Disgusting. We'll talk about that in a second. But as of right now, from the looks of the bracket projections, Oregon's number 1, Texas 2, SMU 3, Boise State 4. Arizona State will take that 5th and final spot at the 12th seed. Then you got Penn State at 5, got Tennessee at 9, Ohio State at 8, Bama at 11, Notre Dame at 6, Indiana at 10, Georgia at 7. But with these conference championships going up, a lot of things could change.
A lot of things could change, yes.
For example, if Georgia loses to Texas, if Texas loses to Georgia, they could swap, or they could move somebody down.
Yes.
If SMU loses to Clemson,
they're
more than likely going to be able to move out Bama.
Ooh, you're right.
Yes.
Right.
And then I would say SMU would take that 11th spot if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Or it's going to be rearranged somehow, some way. But Bama would be out.
Okay.
And then Clemson would take over that number 3 spot in there. So,
understanding. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts, which is genuinely a whole lot of moving parts. This conference championship weekend is going to be very, very telling.
Yes, this weekend is going to go crazy. So just in case people would like to know the slate, 20 UNLV will face number 10 Boise State Friday night. Saturday. That's where it's all at. So the Big 12 championship will be Iowa State versus Arizona State. The SEC championship is Georgia versus Texas. The Big 10 will be Penn State versus Oregon, and then the ACC will be Clemson versus SMU. Man, the fact that Penn State has a chance to move up,
they could still move up if they end up beating Oregon. Do you know how actually wild that would be?
I don't see it because Penn State finds a way to fold against everybody.
They do.
Oregon looks good. You know, they've been able to relatively coast.
Pretty much.
Because they haven't really had much resistance. The only resistance they really had was against Boise State earlier in the season and Ohio State and that.
Yes.
And that little messing with the time with Will Howard trying to slide with 1 second left.
Yes. I remember that now. Yes. But even Miami playing themselves out of conference championship.
Yes, man. I said it last week. I said Syracuse is a team to watch out for.
Syracuse, why I have chills thinking about just recapping that game right now in my head,
bro. At the end of the first quarter, Miami was up 21-0.
21-0. How do you let Syracuse come back and beat y'all? That's disgusting to me.
That shows how just bad their defense.
That defense.
And then Cristobal doesn't at least give his guys a chance by going for it on that 4th down and kicking a field goal. Knowing that your defense can't stop a cold. Man, that sucks.
That hurts. That has to hurt, man. Because they were right there.
Yes.
And you can't lose to an unranked team.
No.
Especially after they were number 6.
Yeah. Yeah, after they moved down from being number 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm gonna explain what Ward Manuel said, who is the college football playoff committee chairman. So he said, Bama is 3-1 against current top 25 teams, 6-1 against teams above 500. Miami's 0-1 against top 25 teams, 4-2 against teams above 500. Miami lost their last 2 out of 3.
It's
you know what I mean? So
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. At the end of the day, it wasn't only just the stats or whatever. It wasn't just, the strength of schedules and looking at who they lost to, but it was also the fact that coming down the stretch, you just didn't look good. You know what I mean? Obviously, Bama didn't look good against Oklahoma, but at least they bounced back against Auburn. Obviously took care of Mercer or whatever. But like I said, they beat teams like Missouri.
They beat Georgia.
They beat Georgia earlier, and I think that was really the kicker right there.
Yep, I think that was the one that they were like, we can't put Miami ahead.
Because if I'm being honest with you, like, yes, Miami could put up, they could score in bunches, but if I put that Miami team against Georgia in a neutral site,
Georgia's whooping them.
You think Georgia's not going to shut that down?
Georgia's whooping them by at least 3 touchdowns.
You think Georgia's not going to, you know what I mean? You think Georgia's not going to knock them down? You know what I mean? Like I understand Georgia had a tough time with Georgia Tech. Obviously saw that Miami losing to them.
Mm-hmm.
But Georgia Tech's offense is, that triple option.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very hard to stop.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a good running quarterback in Haynes King,
mm-hmm.
which Georgia Tech does.
Yes.
It's a lot different when you're playing against Miami, whose Cam Ward doesn't really like to climb out the pocket like that.
Mm-hmm. Very rarely.
Very
rarely, yeah.
And then at the end of the games, they're coming down in the stretches, with the ball in Cam Ward's team, and Cam Ward can't make any plays.
After making plays all game,
he can't make any plays.
And when it counts.
But Miami got lucky so many times. Louisville, Virginia Tech, Cal.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 3 losses right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If they, if they went into Cal and they manhandled them, that would have been something. They, like you lose to Georgia Tech, you lose to Syracuse. Okay, whatever. You could deal with that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you came so close to burning your feet, now you actually got burned. So.
I agree.
So.
And depending on how this weekend goes, they could be out.
They could be out, yeah, for good.
Because if Bama goes down, like you said.
Which Bama's in front of them, and then
Miami has to go down.
Yeah, and Ward Manuel said, the teams that are not playing, we can't judge them based off of nothing.
Exactly.
So,
I don't know, man. This weekend's gonna be good.
This weekend's gonna be fireworks.
Gonna be good.
Yes, remember Sunday at noon. That's when the official brackets come out.
Sunday at noon. Ooh, I can't wait for that.
Sunday at noon.
Ooh, I can't wait for that.
But yeah, that's it for our 100th episode.
100 episodes. Thank you guys so much.
We appreciate everybody that's been with us on this journey, and as is continuing to be with us, and much love to you guys, and
we appreciate y'all always and forever.
We surely do. But till then, I'm your host Cam Silver.
I'm your co-host Kyle Silver,
and this is the Silver Boys.
Thank you.